about this very exciting topic, which is the milestones between Mecca and Medina.
اسمحوا لي بالعربي لأنه عندنا الشيخ عثمان طه كاتب القرآن الكريم. الدكتور عبدالله هو زميل للشيخ. شيخ، نحن فرحين بحضوركم معنا اليوم، وأنت إنسان مبارك. أحب، أنت تعرف الأستاذ الدكتور عبدالله، لكن أحب أقول لك إنه اليوم المحاضرة عن الاميال الحجرية ومسار الهجرة بين مكة والمدينة، هجرة الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام. شكرا جزيلا.
I already asked the permission of everybody to talk in English. I welcome you on behalf of our three celebrities, their musicians and musicians here, as well as Yilqīha, one of this event. I'm going to talk about the milestones, and I call it milestones of Arabia, and also I come from one of these from the Commission of Culture, who are serving us today, and they're going to have also actually projects related to the milestones of actually, my story will be milestones go into three parts. The past, which goes back to 1979. So it's funny. When I first left from here to the States, a small town called Dallas, very small town. It's in Indiana, state of Indiana. And I was surprised by the usage of the miner system. Even the cars. So we were used to kilometers here, the speed with kilometers. So if you go, for example, and you're allowed to speed 400 kilometers per hour to 400 miles an hour. They will give you free mileage, or they will charge you for the mileage. So that the word mine starts when mind until I came back and I joined the College of Architecture and the university at that time called Faisal University. Now it's being changed to the Manor University, and now it's Manor University. They distributed the standards for the architecture at that time called Time Saver, which is equivalent to Newfort. Those standards they talk about the miles, and they talk about the back, which is the arm length. But they differ. The school calls, some say it's 1,000, some say it's 2,000. This actually is related to me and my curiosity to go beyond. In 2018, exactly, I was in Medina, and I thought, what am I to make sure? What is the exact distance of the mine? So you know, talking about the area, we're talking about civilizations. So the idea of finding the exact mine, you have to find physical mine, stones, on the ground, and you have to have at least 4 of them in order to have 3 considered distances in order to measure the exact distance of a mine. And so, in order to verify or testing, in any testing, you have to place, you have like one test. Sometimes the results are unhappy. You have to do a second one and third one to verify the distance. And I continue to search for those milestones. So before that, I had to go and dig into the history of milestones. So the ancient Egypt, they used the milestones also. The Roman, and by the way, the Roman milestone, the distance is 1,400 something here. And then you have the Byzantine, and this one is now still standing in the area of Sultan Ahmed, close to Hagia Sophia. And this is the Jordan, and every civilization, they still use the milestone. So the milestones here of area, those are the shapes that I was able to find and figure out. Boston, I remember Dr. Ma'raj sent me a photo from Boston a few years ago regarding finding a milestone there. We have the imperial system, which is still, the imperial system is still used in US, Liberia, and Burma. Those 3 countries, they're still using. I know some countries like in the roads like UK, they're still using both. But purely the imperial system are still used in those 3 countries. When did we shift from the imperial system to the metric system? It was in 1797. So only like 200 something years, which is not that old. While the imperial system, we're talking about thousands of years. So
they use the metric system because honestly, also it's easier. All what you need, just multiply by 10, divide by 10, then you get the results. While the imperial system, it's very difficult. You need to train yourself in order to reach the results. The language, the history of the mile itself was, and the MIL, it's not a mistake, it's meal. We call it meal. Interestingly, in English, it's mile, and in Arabic, it's meal. So when you look into the root of the meal, and they talk about milul masafati, the distance of, or the mile of the distance, when things start to divert, so they disappear, you don't see them. If you look and clearly, you would see objects clearly, and after 1 mile, they start to disappear. And that's why on the roads, we call them in Arabic shakhs. And shakhs from shakhs, like the figure of a human being. So usually when you travel and you see something similar to a human being, first of all, you feel comfortable because you're traveling on a road by yourself, and it has the same shape of the milestone. Milestone 0, in every single town, there is a space or a location where starts the town. So let's say Rome. Where does it start when you say Rome? At the Vatican, there is a milestone, and that's why they say all the roads lead to Rome. So the same here in Mecca, all the roads lead to Mecca. All the trade routes here in Mecca, they lead to Mecca. Okay, how large is Mecca? Mecca, are you talking about the mosque itself, or which has been expanded in a very massive way, or you're talking about the town? So the mile 0 in Mecca, it's the Kaaba itself, because it doesn't change. The same thing with al-Medina al-Munawwara. The mosque of the Prophet ﷺ expanded, so big, as well as the city. So the mile 0 is the pulpit, the Minbar al-Nabawi. Again, those are pictures that we took. Interestingly, all the ancient towns, they were very small. When you talk about al-Medina al-Munawwara, only 0.5 mile by 0.3 mile. That's how it used to be, the size, the dimension. Rome, you're talking about 1.75 to 1.5. Palmyra, Athens, and so on. From my survey, I couldn't see any town that would exceed 3 miles. There is no town would exceed 3 miles. The reason for that, we're gonna see why. The dispute on the mile, as we said, we have the Roman, which is 1400 something. We have the Byzantine, which is 1500 something. We have the English, which is 1,609 meter. And what we've discovered, what I discovered also, 1,603. Again, like idioms, always we say that the 1,000 mile starts with 1 step. So this shows the multiplication of the steps that would lead you to a mile. And that's why when we say 1,000 paces is a mile. Even in our text, we say ألف خطوة ميل. So 1,000 paces is a mile. My methodology, what I did here, I have the data collection, the data analysis, and the field study, data documentation and synthesis, and then the publication and touring. So this project, this field work, didn't come just with joy or just resting in the office. It took me so long with hard work. So data collection, I went to every single source that talked about milestones. I've used every single time, every single minute, every single piece of paper, even the bags that are put in the airplanes when you need to use them. Sometimes you don't find anything, so you write on them. I have, honestly, tons of them that I've used. You exhaust. I remember a few weeks ago, I went to buy a coffee just in order to get the receipt so I can write on the back of the receipt. I have it with me. Sometimes you have something to write and you don't, and by the way, I hate to write on iPhones or the computer. First, I have first-hand writing with my hand, then I transform them into, in the airports where you sit. So also the sources. There is a society in UK. It's based in Cardiff. I remember in 2003, I called them that I wanted to come and give a presentation about milestones. They said, no, we don't accept papers. Who are you? And so on. Now they're chasing us here in the country, including Professor Tim Insel. He's the one who approached us. He's with us. You're welcome. He's from University of Exeter. Again, when you have solid research, and because of the treasure we have in this country, people would appreciate what you have. So whether the books being published in UK or one of my favorite books, طرق المناسك والحج by Imam al-Harbi. Also, I traveled with Sheikh Atiq al-Biladi, rahimahullah ta'ala. I tried to learn about I became, archaeologist by practice and being around archaeologists. Of course, our favorite Imam Samhudi. So the analyzing and examining the milestones and the system of analysis, I've used old maps in order to trace the routes. So as well as other colleagues, I traveled to Egypt, I traveled to Spain, to Turkey in order to buy maps. I've used other softwares and so on in order to analyze the idea. Here, the reason I'm showing this image, they mention that 6 hairs would be equivalent to 1 sha'ira, and 6 of the sha'ira would be equivalent to a finger. And then we have the vest, then we have the hand span. If you notice, the division of the mile related to the parts of the body, the finger, the fist, and also the khatawat, the foot steps, and so on. And then we have the ba'. We call this in Arabic ba'. 1,000 of this ba', the arm strength. If you multiply this by 1,000, this is a mile, 1 mile exactly. If you go 1 pace, this is 1 pace, 1,000 times, this is a mile. So sometimes you didn't need any tools to know that whether you travel. And then it's equivalent to time. You need only 20 minutes on average to travel a mile. Here, we say the division, then we have the multiplication. So 3 miles is called farsakh, the league. The farsakh in Arabic, so we say the mile where things would deviate. Then we have the farsakh in Arabic, it's a sukoon, so the silence. So after traveling 3 miles, you feel you want to rest. If you examine this, that's how it happened. After traveling 4 farsakhs, this is what we call a barid. A barid, we use it in Arabic, which is the post office, so which is 12 miles. After traveling a barid, which is usually would take 4 hours, you feel you want to take more than what you took with the 3 miles. So I call it today, and in the past they call it al-muta'asha. Today you can call it lunchtime. To call it the lunchtime. So after working for 4 hours, you need to rest. And then after 4 hours, you need to rest for the rest of the day. This is called marhala. Marhala from the rihla, from the rahil, your luggage. So you need to unload your luggage and just stay for one night. So again, the multiplication is based on your capacity, the human being capacity. So we have a mile, we have the farsakh, and then we have the barid, and then 2 barids would be marhala. So this is maximum. So what is the multiplication of a marhala? Then we have 2 marhalas, 3 marhalas, 5 marhalas. So if you say from Mecca to Medina, 10 marhalas, that means you need 10 days to travel. And that's how they use to calculate and measure those distances. So are they related, the milestones? This is the first milestone that I discovered on the route, standing. That was a long time ago. The tools that I used. This is Ahmed. By the way, this boy, now he's a dentist. This shows how old the research is. I've used GPSs. I was chasing and buying every single device at that time. Today, in your iPhone, you have everything. At that time, it was very difficult to find and capture things. We've used the drones also. Also, we tested, could we find milestones while using the drones? No. This, even while driving, you can't. You have to walk and search and survey those. But this is for capturing. We camp. Usually we stay there for nights, and we camp on the road. And this is one of the places where one of the milestones, I called it mile 7, but in the book with a different naming. This is our camp. I wanted to put a piece over one of the milestones. See, this milestone, I went by this milestone for 14 years. I wasn't brave enough, honestly, to put the pieces over each other. Then I decided to put this piece over this one. And I thought, honestly, it would take me like 10 minutes to 15 minutes, but it took us more than 3 hours. We've used every single technique to excavate. I don't want the people from the Commission of Heritage to, sue me on this. As this is before. This is an old. So, afallahu amma salaf. Now we have a project with them to dig. By the way, I don't usually dig. I don't dig, but I couldn't for this milestone because I wanted to put. See this piece. How we put it in a carpet. We couldn't. Several ones of us couldn't honestly handle the piece. Look at this, and they're beautiful. So now, alhamdulillah, Ministry of Culture with the Commission of Heritage, now they're, having huge projects and investment in order to take care of those milestones, put them up again, and do more search for that. Also, when you photograph places, especially with the valleys, trees, you get confused. You don't know which one is this. So I search for a camera where I have a GPS. In the past, before those GPSs, I would put the number of the image, and then I would say I took this image at that location, at that time, at that day, and so on. But it was really difficult. So I was able to find a camera with the GPSs in order to capture. I know those things sound basics today, so basics. All kind of devices that also I've used. I'm talking about 30 years ago. how do I make sure this milestone with our milestones, the distances, and the 1,000 paces would be applied on human beings? So I took 7 people, 7 of my friends, with a flat plane and with scale, with a wheel scale, with also a meter. And then we started to walk and counting the paces. I swear, by the end of counting 1,000, the 1,000 pace, 1,000, look at this number. It's exactly 1,609 meters. And then we've tested this different days, different timing, because that person, was he sick, was he healthy, and it became so precise. So now it's been proven. In terms of time, it takes only 20 minutes to go for 1 mile. Again, applying the theory, what we discovered, the field work, how did I discover it? So once I discovered the first one and the second one, then I started to go and put a methodology in order to find more of them. Even the route, I put a hypothetical route, but then the more you find milestone or milestones, you start to correct your route. And then we found more of them, up to 55, which been in the book. Look at them. This is from the GPS. This is from the GPS, exactly. See, milestone number 1 with the dimensions. And by the way, on average, they're 175. This is on average. The width of the human being, the depth of the human being. The second milestone, and the third one, a fourth one. I call it 4.5. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. But when I found the fourth one, or the fourth and the fifth, when I went back and started to analyze and download the data, I discovered it was the distance of 2 miles. So I went back, and because I was using my GPS numbering them, so I couldn't put a number except 4.5. So it doesn't mean 4.5 miles. No, it's in between a missing one that I discovered later on. Calculating the distances, I've used t-test to make sure the difference, because it was 1,612 plus minus. So there is an error, maybe because I measured it when I captured the first time at the top of the milestone or the bottom, or it's been shifted just for a few meters. This could happen. I used the buffering system around the milestones in order to make sure, are the circles touching each other or they are apart, to make sure how far you are from those the accurate distances. I also put the historical maps on the routes. Are we still using the same routes that I found the milestones on them or not? How far is it away from that? The point 0 means 1 milestone and then other milestones. And by the way, I took the distance, I applied it on the traditional texts, especially the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and it was exactly, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This shows you the shape, the color, and the form of those milestones, and so on. And interestingly, every single milestone, it would be chosen from the same area. It's like the doctors, when they make sure if they want to implant an organ in somebody, that organ should be almost identical to the same body. So they would put and make sure those milestones are from the same surrounding area. And this is a call for the architects, for the planners. Make sure the materials that you use in your buildings, should be from the same area rather than importing from different areas. I tried to compare between what I found and what is in UK. This is what I found. This is in UK. This is what I found. This is in UK. Look, this one and this one. They are similar even in shape. This doesn't mean we took it from the English. The English took it from us. That's my actually argument, and I fought with Ian Thompson. The reason we have evidences that those milestones being in the ones that have been discovered, at least some of them more than 1,200 years. And we have evidences, the idea of the milestone even pre-Islamic, and we have evidences. And that's why now we are with the Commission of Culture, with University of Exeter. Now we are gonna go and take samples to examine when those milestones were implanted and from where they were brought. In order to do that, you need, further research, and we're gonna spend 10 days on the route. Before going to the field, I put what we call expected and actual. So I try to expect and look for the next one, and look how far the expected and the found one. I swear not more than less than a meter there. And usually we use chi-square in statistics, what we call the expected and the actual. Local tribes, honestly, they helped us a lot. The people on the route, the family of Saadi, the family of Al-Biladi, the family, it would be difficult to mention their names. They are very, very helpful. Whenever you go to them, they go out of their way. We have our colleague, Abu Sa'ad Fawaz. We traveled together on many places. Thank you. So every single, honestly, Saudi here is very, very helpful when you go on the road. They don't leave you without, helping you and making sure that you get what you want. We have inscriptions. See, in writing, we write milani. We don't say اثنين ميل. We say mil, milaini, ثلاثة amyal or amyul. By the way, the meal, the plural of a meal in Arabic, either it's amyal or miyul or amyul, amyul. And all of the inscriptions that I found, they were amyul. This is what I have here. It's been inscribed. It's called amyul. And this shows that they are very ancient milestones. We have inscriptions, because the discovery of those milestones led us to ancient routes where we found inscriptions on the route. Look at this writing. This is at least 1,200 years ago. This is Milani here. Of course, I'm not an archaeologist, but I try to imitate or copy them. So I use brushes, I'm still nice and gentle to those milestones. Look at this, خمسة أميال. Those are the characteristics, features, the dimensions of those milestones. You can use the milestone as, honestly, knowing your direction as well as the timing based on the shadow. We know that shade and shadow, if you, try to perfect shade and shadow, you would be able to know the direction as well as the timing. We know when the sun rises, the shadow would go to the west and so on. So we can know by the direction, the time of, see like this one. Let me go back. See the timing here? There is almost no shadow for this one. The Barid, which is, by the way, post office. They call it post office because there was a post they put after 12 miles. And that's how the letters used to be delivered, the breed. The breed would take you at 4 hours to reach your point. You deliver the messages or the letters or the things, and then you take from the other guy from the other side, and then you go back for 4 hours. So if you calculate 4 hours and 4 hours, this is 8 hours. This is the working hours that we're working today. Maybe that's why the idea of your working hours. And then if you want to rest for 1 hour, which is what we call lunch, 9 hours. So it's up to you. If you want to take your lunch hour, if you don't want to take it, it's up to you. Look at the characteristics. Usually there are stones. You would see potteries around those milestones. I have to go fast. This milestone took me 2 years. 2 years to find it. That was the only piece that was exposed. You couldn't believe. You pass by any small rock, you didn't think it's a milestone. But based on the distances, on the calculations, you know for sure there is a milestone. So I had the gust and so I decided honestly to excavate. So this is it, and look at that milestone. And still, at least 2 weeks ago I was there, it was still buried, by the way. This one after 14 years, and that's why I called it 51 North, because I have number 51, but I found it north, the other one, so I called it 51 North. So this is after 14 years, I discovered this. This would show you some of the things that, this one honestly was removed, taken away from its place. And I sent a message to the Commission of Culture, and they intervened, and now it's been put again and been protected. That time it was windy. I'm talking about 20 years between those pictures. Trying to clean the pottery, sometimes brushing and looking. See, look at this inscription. I swear we did not scratch anything. It's been clean and protected. Look at this one. Hasn't been discovered before. And alhamdulillah, now it's been documented with the Commission of Culture. Those are some of the publications. I'll try to wrap up and just quickly. I gave presentations. This was 2008. I remember Dr. Ramzi, Dr. Miraj, they remember those days. In the kingdom now, we have actually several routes, but the major ones, the Kufi, the Basri, Darb al-Anbiya, which is between Mecca and Medina. Then we have the Misri, the Shami, and so on. All those routes, also they have milestones on them. Again, endless possibilities that we can extract. This is a map showing all the 55 milestones that I discovered and in the book. Now we have more of them, alhamdulillah. If you look at it from economic point of view, I mean, it's endless. We can do a lot of utilization. Could be good for the economy of the people around those milestones for the country. Educational. I mean, if you teach the students about the imperial system, the miles, the farsakh, the barid, they wouldn't be able to honestly understand, absorb. But if you take them to the field, it's totally different. Health and lifestyle. I have the idea of honestly walking a marhala on one day. Can you walk it or not? How healthy you are. You can check yourself. How many calories. By the way, on average, if you are 120 pounds on average, and if you walk 1 mile, you will burn 65 calories. If you're 180, you'll burn 100 calories. So the more the weight the person in 1 mile, the more the calories. So I encourage everybody to come with us and walk around at least 24 miles, a marhala, which will take only 1 day, if you don't mind. And city planning also. This should be used, our unit design. This is for Dr. Adnan Adis. Because now cities are measured, and even in geography, your daily needs, you shouldn't walk more than 5 minutes for your daily needs, which means a quarter of a mile if you walk. So the maximum is 20 for your weekly needs, which is 1 mile, rather than just expanding without any controls. Those are related to planning standards. Okay, I'll go quickly. Dr. Adnan is saying I have to. Also entertainment. Even for entertainment, we should use those milestones. We can film. I want, honestly, people from all disciplines to come and enjoy and get out of them their qualities, whether it's filming, whether it's drawing, and so on. Art, culture, and heritage. The value of a place is in its history. So the more you know about the history of the place, the more the value, and you will value that place. Thank you.
استأذنكم في الذهاب إلى
السادة المعالي السعادات، نشكركم على تشريفنا في متحف المكتين، وعندنا حوالي 15 دقيقة حتى يعني ممكن الصلاة أو حفل الغداء في خارج. شكرا جزيلا.
دكتور عدنان. اوكي عدنان.
I'm sorry. We have questions and answers. Yes.
ممكن يتكلم كلمة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أولاً
تعريف
الله أستاذ في جامعة المنورة سابقاً، وأشكر أولاً سعادة الدكتور القاضي، وأشكر سعادة الأستاذ على هذه المحاضرة. الأميال كما نعلم هي على الوحيد، الأميال الصغيرة والأميال الكبيرة. الأميال الصغيرة اللي هي تؤخذ من الحجارة الصغيرة طبعا. احنا نتكلم أول شيء عن المرحلة الثالثة من المراحل الاكتشافات الأثرية التي قامت بها الدكتور عبدالله الصادق رحمه الله تعالى عليه. تبعوا بعد كذا البعثة التي جاءت اللي هي البعثة الأمريكية، وجاءت لاستكشاف طريق الكوفة مكة، ثم تبعها الدكتور سعادة بعد ذلك. بعد هذه أيضا تبعنا مسألة تتبع في الأميال في الطرقات المختلفة، وخاصة طريق الكوفة مكة، ووجدنا عدد كبير من الأميال التي لا تزال قائمة في مكانها التي وضعت منذ العصر العباسي فيها. أيضا وجدت البعثات أيضا اللي هي عندنا الأميال، عندنا الصور اللي هي تقدر المسافة من سواء كانت من العاصمة التي بغداد آنذاك إلى الموقع الذي وصلت إليه ذلك الميل، أو المسافة التي ما بين القرى المختلفة. نحن نعرف
أول من أسس الطرقات في الدولة هي كان عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه، وسارت في العصر الأول وجدنا أيضا مجموعة من الأميال المكتوبة من عهد عبد الملك بن مروان رحمه الله تعالى، ومكتوبة لا تزال في جامعة الملك سعود كذلك. لكن الأميال هي على نوعين، الأول كما ذكرت سعادة المحافظ هي الاميال الحجرية الواحدة، هنالك النوع الثاني هي الاميال الكثيرة التي تبنى وترتفع بشكل كبير ارتفاع أكثر من 200 وتبنى بشكل دائري، وموجود لها صور أيضا منشورة سواء نشرت في مجلة الإقراء أو نشرت في الأبحاث الأخرى أيضا اللي هي الأميال الكبيرة. تحدث عنها احمد الحسين في كتاب وليد المسافر عن الاميال وعن المسافات وعن كذا. تحدثت ايضا كثير من الابحاث عن الصور التي هي تحدد المسافات، كان المسلمين عندهم خطه كبيره جدا في تحديد المسافات. بالنسبه للدين عند المسلمين في الاميال التي وجدت قائمه الى 1404 عهد بها، ما بين كل ميل واخر خاصه في الطريق الكوفه 2 كيلو متر بالتحديد متساويه المسافات، لان الاميال تختلف عن الميل الانجليزي، الميل عند المسلمين يختلف عن الميل الانجليزي، لكن لما قيست الاميال الواقفه الموجوده في طريق الكوفه سواء كانت في القانون او في العنابيه او في الجهات المختلفه، وجدت المسافه متساويه 2 كيلو متر تماما بين الاميال المختلفه الاسلاميه. احببت اسبق ان يعني زياده على ما ذكر
Let me first of all mention why we're standing here. This is a replica of Bab al-Safa, which is from Mecca. Thank you very much. Bab al-Safa is the door where the Prophet ﷺ used to go out to make the sa'i when he goes to Kaaba. And also it's been measured from Bab al-Shayba ila Arafah. There are 12 miles, the distances. Regarding the... thank you for mentioning that. أيوة. السؤال هذا ما سؤال، هذا comment. Yes, yeah. The professor just mentioned that according to what's been discovered on the Kufi route, they have measured also there are milestones, and he said صغير وكبير, which is small and long ones. He said they found it exactly 2,000 meters. Again, I've been asked the same question. I've been on Kufi route. I would say it differs from place to place and from time to time. There is no problem, and that's what honestly motivated me to go and do this whole research. Why is it being even they differed the scholars in the books? So I'm not saying that's wrong, it's not true. There are I've seen it, it's 2,000 meters on the Kufa thereby. So everything is correct. But I'm saying what we've discovered between Mecca and Medina. Even Imam Harbi said there are qisar and tiwal. He means longer milestone distance and shorter milestone distance.
عندي سؤال يطرح على عدم سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور، كيف نقوم هؤلاء الخلفاء في حمل التجارة هذه الكبيرة التي لا تستطيعون إلا السيارات والآلات المعدات الآن الحديثة، فكيف تم أخذها؟
The question is, those milestones are very heavy. How did they carry them from place to place? Honestly, the only way is by camels. They join several camels and they put them in a very, mechanism way they do. like when they carry many heavy things. That's how they carry those milestones, even choosing those milestones.
بالإضافة كلنا نعرف أن العبادات لها اتصال خاص بهذه الأمور الصلاة وضرورة الصلاة والصيام هذه الأمور يجب المسلم أن يطلع على عبادته بصلاته وعبادته وعلى هذه الأمور يجب معرفتها بالضرورة جزاه الله خيرا وطال الله عليه إن شاء الله.
الدكتور عدنان في علاوي جزاك الله خير شيخ. By the way, the idea of the miles and the bereads not from the time of Abbas, pre-Islamic. This is in al-Bukhari. Aisha radiallahu anha said, حتى إذا كنا بتربان. Turban is a valley which is away from المدينة المنورة. حتى إذا كنا بتربان بلد بينه وبين المدينة بريد وأميال. So a turban, which is a town, part of a valley, it's away from the Medina with a distance of a bereed, which is 12 miles, and few miles. If you calculate this from Medina Munawwara, exactly you will be in the town of Turban. So they know those milestones.
أي سؤال ثاني؟ نشكر الجميع على الحضور. تفضل الكلام الأستاذ الأستاذ السلفي يدير استطلاع عن
شكرا جزيلا لسعادة الدكتور القاضي على هذه المحاضرة الشيقة. شكرا للحضور الأستاذ عبد راشد وضيوفنا الإخوة معاكم اليوم وضيوفنا من هيئة التراث وشؤون الحرمين. نشكر الجميع على تشريفهم وندعوكم الآن للحضور بهدف الصلاح في الدور الأول، ومن يحب أن يتفضل بالغداء غداء مفتوح. Thanks to the work of joining us today for this prestigious lecture by Professor Abdullah. You are all welcome to join us for lunch, and those who would like to pray for Dhuhr, it's at the first floor. Thank you very much.
لا اكيد نوصلها ان شاء الله، ما تبخلون علينا. Sorry if I was harsh on you. I couldn't find any precise text, especially with the milestones. With other, let's say, with other goods, with other weights, we found. Okay, wait. It is very heavy. But in the Quran, وَتَحْمِلُ أَثْقَالَكُمْ. So they carry you heavy weight. أثقالكم إلى بلد to places لم تكونوا بالغين بشكل أنفسكم. That will not reach them except with struggles. تعطونا أمنا. سجيت من أول. دكتور سامحونا إذا في أي.
لا كيف
أنا قلت لهم ركز بين مكة والمدينة. أنا ما
لا سيبك هذا رجال.
Thank you. عسى جازت لكم بس.
الله يجزاك الخير ويعطيك العافيه. ما زلنا نستقبل على اثار البرنامج اللي عملناه. الكثير من الوفود على طريق.
جميل. لا وان شاء الله الكتاب قريب درب الانبياء.
اخر لقاء كان 70 شخصيه متقاعدين.
جميل. جزاك الله خير. شكرا جدا. جزاك الله خير. جزاك الله خير. ان شاء الله.
Can we take a picture with those?
Of course.
So interesting lecture.
I like it. جزاك الله خير. See you tonight. Excited tonight.
One picture.
Please.
Amazing to finally see that everything.
Alhamdulillah, coming together.
Alhamdulillah, salam.
جزاك الله خير. See you tonight, ها؟ إن شاء الله.
قلنا وين ما تشتاش ونكون معك.
إن شاء الله. See you tonight, ها؟
يقتنع بالملاحظات. انت كنت عندك ملاحظات نتكلم فيها.
طيب.
اليوم والله إذا برنامج المحافظ قلت والله أنا ملتزم بالبرنامج.
طيب. السلام عليكم.
ما شاء الله.
جزاك الله خير. يعطيك العافية. يعطيك العافية.
استمتعنا والله.
جزاك الله خير.
مش تخصصنا ولكن استمتعنا.
ايش؟ ما ناخذه هذا؟
يا سيدي على
ابشر يعطيك اياه.
واختصار 30 سنة 15 دقيقة مش سهل.
صحيح. لا ابدا. انا
30 سنة.
انا كل ميل اقضي عنده سنين.
اكيد.
اكيد. بس الوقت هل هذه الدراسة في منشورة مثلا وين
في كتاب وفي معرض لازم تشوفوه. خلينا نشوف.
هي نزلت في كتاب.
نعم.
بس هل نزلت مثلا كفيديو او يعني
هي شوي الان مثلا الهجرة اشتغلت عليها